What's up, y'all? Spence here with your Weekly Truth. Now, last week we talked a lot about God's law and why it's important for us to keep God's law as Christians today. And we briefly mentioned the Ten Commandments. Now, if asked, many Christians today probably can't even tell you all of the Ten Commandments. So that's why over the next few weeks, we're going to give you an in-depth look at each and every one of them and how they impact your daily life as a Christian. But today, we're going to give you just the overview. The Ten Commandments can be found in Exodus chapter 20 and echoed again in Deuteronomy chapter 5. And for the sake of brevity, I'm going to give you the shorthand today. Number 1, you shall have no other gods before me. Number 2, you shall not make for yourselves an idol. Number 3, you shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God. Number 4, remember the Sabbath, keeping it holy. Number 5, honor your father and mother. Number 6, you shall not commit murder. Number 7, you shall not commit adultery. Number 8, you shall not steal. Number 9, you shall not give false testimony. And number 10, you shall not covet. So, why is all this Old Testament stuff so important to Christians today? Well, contrary to what many people think, it's not just some checklist of things to do to earn your way into heaven. And you're not going to go directly to hell if you break one of these commandments. Now, through the Gospels, Jesus taught on these commandments and revealed their true nature. For instance, in Matthew chapter 5, verses 21 and 22, Jesus says, "You've heard that our ancestors were told, 'You must not murder. For if you commit murder, you are subject to judgment.' And I say to you, even if you are angry with somebody, you are subject to judgment. If you call somebody an idiot, you are in danger of being brought before the court. And if you curse someone, you're in danger of the fires of hell." Here Jesus is saying, even if you're angry with someone, you've broken the intent of the law. That kind of anger he's talking about here is not just some disagreement that can be worked out. It's being angry with somebody to the point of rage, where you wish that person was dead or never existed, or being angry with them to the point that you'd even tell them, "You're dead to me." What Jesus is teaching here is that the law is much more than just the words on the page. It's about the intent behind those words. And the intent of these 10 commandments can really be summed up with our relationship with God and our relationship with our fellow man. And that's why Jesus said the greatest commandment is to love God and equally love your neighbor as yourself in Matthew 22. Coincidentally enough, that's exactly how these 10 commandments break down. Commandments 1 through 4 deal specifically with your relationship with God. Love God above all else. Don't make and worship idols. Don't misuse the name of the Lord, and keep the Sabbath holy. These all carry a heavy undertone that God, who created us, wants a personal relationship with us. He's a jealous God, longing for our total affection and commitment. Yet he also sustains us in keeping the Sabbath, a day of rest to renew our spirit in him. Now, 5 through 10 covers our relationship with the world and how we love our neighbors. Honor your parents, no murder, no adultery, no stealing, no false testimony, and no coveting. Now, these can be thought of as a moral compass of society. Even most non-Christians will recognize them as good rules to follow. But why did God give us these specific rules? Well, ultimately, it's about living at peace with our fellow man. Not just our brothers and sisters in Christ, but literally all of the world. Because if you break even one of these, you're going to cause a chain reaction of pain and devastation on society. We need to start looking at these more like a gift and not a burden. The Lord gave us these commandments because they protect us. They protect society, and they keep us close to the heart of God. These commandments illustrate the heart of how he wanted us to live, but we break them every day. Yet in his grace, he knows that we are born into sin and selfishness, and that we would need this as a reminder, as well as the opportunity to feel the stark contrast between the holiness of God and our own iniquity. Matthew 5:3 says, "God blesses those who are poor and realize their need for him, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs." Take some time this week to read the 10 Commandments for yourself and discover the relationship between the burden of the law and the grace of God. Have an awesome week, and I will catch you next time on the